My hands are.
Barber College Success. Brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown Johnson City. Spreading love the JC way. Spreading love is the only way Crown Cuts know how to do it. And my special guest, special first timer. But first off, I got to introduce my co-host. I thought he wasn't going to be on. He's in a far land so far away doing it up. That's what's up, though. But he's still available. My guy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Emma Fields, Emma, your barber. Blessed to be here. Thank God for technology.
Technology is a beast, boy. And we're going to let our student barbers introduce themselves. Let the veteran introduce himself first, then the rookie go last, because he's a little nervous. I'm going to put the pressure on him.
Kevin Collins, Fades on Instagram. Yeah, this is like my third time on here, but it's been a while. I haven't been on here in about 4, 5, 6 months, maybe.
Probably don't. Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
Ready to graduate, and we
Yes,
got a newcomer, a rookie to the podcast. Introduce yourself. Vic, you got a barber in it? Sold it out. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Victor Fields. I don't have no barber name or nothing, but I'm gonna work on getting everything where I need to get it to.
To the mysterious barber. There it is. But today we're gonna have a special episode. Before I even start, let me shout out my sponsors, Colossal Brand. Again, check him out. Jay doing some wonderful things with that industry with his clothing line. Colossal Brand is real major. Colossal.org, colossal.com. He is on Instagram, Facebook. Hit him up for anything Colossal. Colossal is just being yourself, being grand, making a grand entrance, but being you. Colossal. Today, we're gonna have a good episode today, because today, this topic I think is something that people, the masses, have been waiting for. Because as we have people from 60 different countries, China, Australia, New Zealand, in the Caribbean, all through the United States, who wait for us to say something. They're waiting for our podcast. People out there really are interested in our podcast. We're in the top 25 podcast. Thank you, Feed Spot. But this episode is going to take it to the next level if you're a student out there. We're going to talk about continuing education and going to a hair show, a barber show. Tennessee Barber Expo this past weekend, and a lot of students went, a lot of people went. And I think it's a good experience for anybody who's thinking about becoming a barber, that you should go to a hair show, one that's near to you. There's always there's one in Vegas. Most states have one. Tennessee, Florida, New York. Everywhere there's a barber show. And we're going to talk about this of the show and what it did for the first time students and the first time people going to one. I've been to several, maybe 5, 6. I kind of started going to them towards the end of my career, and I wish I went to them in the beginning of my career, because it would change my hope on the love for barbering. And I have plenty of love for it. So, I know you was there this past weekend.
Yes, sir.
And you see you have a lot of feedback and a lot to talk about. What's the first thing that come to your mind when you hear about the hair show, Barber Expo?
Rejuvenation. I think about people, you get to doing the same haircuts over and over again, and you're doing your daily grind, and sometimes it weighs on you. It gets kind of boring at times. Even though we love what we do, it still becomes a drag almost. And it's I think it's rejuvenating to go to a hair show and meet people in the industry, like-minded people that are doing the same grind that you're doing, trying to be creative.
Vic, what was your first experience like when we talked to you about the hair show? Not even going to it before, being a new student in school. About how long you been in school now?
A little over 2 months.
Vic, let me let you know in advance. You got that radio voice. You got that podcast voice. You got that very white bass. So you're going to have people calling from around the world. Who's this dude? You might get a record deal, Vic. I'm letting you know. Even when Vic cough, he got that voice.
You got the juice.
You got that Jay-Z cough.
Vic, you
He
can
got
laugh.
the
It's okay,
juice.
let it out, Vic. Go on back, man. Vic try not even let a sound
Yeah,
come
make
out
a
now.
sound.
Try-
Cracking up.
So when you heard about the hair show coming to Tennessee, what was your thoughts?
I really didn't know what to expect because I'm still just starting school. Like I just knew there was gonna be a whole bunch of barbers and like just exposure to barbers.
And you've been on how long?
A little over 2 months.
2 months. So you said you didn't know what to expect. You was just like, did you have any reservations about going at first?
No, I wanted to go
Okay.
just to see other barbers and how they um, maneuver. And
How they do their thing, because hair shows is the Super Bowl of barbering. If this is our Super Bowl, this is where all the barbers come to. Anybody who's into barbering, new trends come out, new clippers, the new capes, just the conversation, just the vibe, and then we're gonna talk about the story how you linked up with your homeboy later. But so when you walked through the doors, what time you got there?
uh, right around 11.
So what was your first impression after you got in there, got through the doors? What was you thinking about?
It's all the different personalities. Like nobody was the same in there. Like just I don't know. That made me feel comfortable because it was like I seen all these different personalities. It was like, well, there's a place for you too, because like nobody was the same there.
Right.
That's cool.
Kevin, what you think? I know, is this your first hair show?
Yeah. This is my first expo hair show, anything like that. And I mean, I was super excited to go to see what it was about. I've heard a lot of good things from a lot of different people about expos and things like that. And my first experience with it was when I got there. They was doing the education,
Mhm.
and so we got in there when the wall guys were up doing their education part of it, and just listening to them talk made me realize how far I've actually come, because I remember hearing someone try to explain something or a conversation through between experienced barbers
Mhm.
that went so far over my head. It was like it was a different language.
Well, you don't know what you don't know until you kind of venture out and start experiencing different things, because you can hear it in the same spot all the time, but it has to make sense. It has to fit that puzzle when you go out there and someone was like, yo, that's how it is.
Yeah, it's just knowledge that you're not ready for. You know what I'm saying? Unless you build the foundation to get to that, to be able to grasp it and understand it, it's just going to go over your head. But I realized like how much I actually have learned.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Toward the, I'm like basically about 8 weeks from graduating, and to it just kind of made me reflect back on my journey and how far I've actually come, and not just cutting hair, but actually the knowledge of hair and the knowledge of the industry and just everything that goes along with it. Because as they were speaking, I was relating to it. I was
Yes.
able to take things from it that probably someone like Vic, who's in the beginning, wouldn't be able to. And it just made me appreciate everybody's at different points in their journey,
Right.
and everybody's at different education
It's a
levels.
process. And the important thing that you said is that it makes you reflect and see what you've learned. Because there are a lot of people when they're in school, the information they're getting, it all goes around their head and goes around their head again, because it doesn't make sense to you. And for it to make sense, you have to venture out and see someone doing the same thing, or hear someone saying the same thing for it to match up. It's just like when you have kids. You have kids, Kevin. And
Mm.
both of you guys in school. You can tell your kids the same thing every day, but somebody else come in and tell them, you be like, yo, I've been telling you this for, and you gonna listen to them over
Facts.
me.
Sheesh.
And we've all seen it because we all have kids. You tell them the same thing, but somebody coming, they'll be like, okay. And you be like, man, I've been telling this for like 5 months.
Yeah, like you gotta hear it from his little
Oh,
buddy that's his age. Like when he
right.
says, "You're like, dude, I've been saying the same thing."
So am
That's what I
I.
think about
Go ahead.
that's what I think about when I think about the hair show. Like my first one, I still wear the bracelet from it. It was in 2019, because that's really what opened my eyes. Because I started a little country shop to where people were still hitting the crown with some two guards. You know, it wasn't nothing really popping off in there. So it really opened my eyes to this entire community and world that I was missing, even though I was very ignorant to everything going on. Like I just, I laugh at myself now because I was just so naive walking around and meeting these people that, meeting Patty Cuts and just be like, hey, what's up, bro? Like I'm a little embarrassed to think about it, honestly.
I mean, but it's important because the thing that happens at these trade shows, you have the new trends, the new techniques, and it keeps you up in your game. It keeps you fresh because this industry, how it continuously evolve, it's important for you to go to those trade shows as a student, as a seasoned barbers, because it helps you hone your craft. It helps you make your craft better. It helps you be able to relate to your clients. It helps you understand there's more to this industry than just the clippers in your hand. Because if you just focus on the clippers in your hand, you're gonna lose. Because you have to be able to separate yourself and differentiate yourself from different people. Like you said, Vic, there's a place for everybody because everyone is doing something different. But the sole purpose of bringing them here is being able to cut. But you have to be able to do something different because after a while, everybody's fade is going to be the same. Everybody's share work is going to be the same. Everybody's lineup is going to be the same. But what separates you? And what the hair show does for that's the importance of going to the hair show.
It does that with product too. Like I walk around and look at all the new products because there's really as like most men nowadays, if you ask a man where he got a product, he'll say he went to Walmart or he uses his wife's stuff. Like I like to see products, especially for men, to that stand out. I'll mention one. It's called Smoke. It's a texture spray, which I keep a crop, so I use texture powder a lot. And you squirt it, and it's like smoke coming out of the product. It's really cool. So that's one of my favorite things to check out when I go to the show.
I mean, it's important because you make so much connections. You see barbers where you'll be like, and you stop and have a conversation that someone who is from across the country, and it's like you've known this person forever, and it's just like, damn, this barber industry is really a bond, a brotherhood, a fraternity that once you get into it, it lasts and it goes forever. It crosses boundaries. It makes the barbering industry just so much more loved. What else is something that stick out to you, Vic, from being there that you remember?
I forgot the dude's name, but he was talking about whenever you dream your plan or whatever it is you're putting together, make sure it's big so you can have space for other people to grow with you. That was like the main thing, because like I was, thinking, I guess, kind of small
Right.
instead of looking at the big picture. Which I know I'm,
You're early in the game.
yeah, but that just gave me, and they talked a lot about branding yourself and stuff like that. And I know that stuff I'm gonna have to work on.
Separate yourself, and it's the importance of the part being able to talk and let people hear your voice. Because as a barber, one of the key things you have to have and be able to do is communicate. Because if you don't communicate, you walk in a room and someone's not talking, you're not trusting them. If you walk in a room and you can't get to someone in a certain, you're like, okay, man, what's going on? This dude is gonna cut my hair and put the headphones on and not even patronize, understand that I'm giving him some of my money for a service. How does that work? What else? What stuck out to you, Kev?
Well, I'll just elaborate more on like what I was saying before about just realizing how far I come, because I think what's happened to me recently is as I get closer to the end, I start to worry about what's to come more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so my worries and my fears, and I'm like, gosh, I'm only here, and I have so far to go, and you can't help, but it's a natural thing to kind of compare yourself to your peers or
Right.
other barbers that you know, or you know what I'm saying, and even people that you see on Instagram. So it made me realize, even though I have a long way to go, it made me realize how far that I've actually come to know that like I'm on the right path. Like my pace is progressing as the way that it should. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it just made me appreciate it more.
But it's like I said, it's hard to you don't know what you don't know. And it's hard to kind of relate to it because me and Emma, we talked about that all the time with students. And I think we had a discussion 2 weeks ago in Bristol with a couple of students, and we was trying to relay something to this one student, he was just not receiving it, and
See what
it was to
happened.
the point. And it was to the point. Am I was getting frustrated. Like, it's just a process. It's gonna come. You know what I mean? But he was Craig. I love the
Ready.
industry so much, and I want him to understand that. Go ahead, am I?
It's just almost like you said. I mean, not saying that this person was my child or that I have any authority over him. It's just that you try to tell somebody, hey, this is the way to walk because I didn't walk that way. There's a snake on that path. Don't walk on that path. But or maybe this path has a better view. If you walk this path, you can see a lot more. But instead, they want to take their own path, which is fine. And 9 times out of 10, we'll probably end up at the same destination. But us as I feel like as an educator, you want to elevate fast, have your students elevate faster than you have, because that's more success for you as an educator.
Yes, sir. So, get back staying on course now. That was just a side story which I wanted to share. There's two parts of the hair shows. There's two parts of the showcase. What are the two parts, MI? And talk about the two parts and why is it important to go to both parts? Because some people try to come the educational part and what's the second part, MI?
The showcase. You got to showcase part, which is
Right.
cool too. My favorite part, I go for the education. I love seeing cutting hair, and I stayed longer just because we had students in there and I wanted to support them. But if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't stay for the showcase. I love the education, and this was such a dope. It's probably the best educational tour. Not to discredit anybody I've seen, but they had like Kevin mentioned, Taylor Fage, Trevor, he was really good, and Titan Barber,
Yeah.
they were awesome.
Yeah.
James Patterson, I love him. His beard is dope.
Yeah.
Chris Basio, not last but least, and one of my personal favorites, Matt Harvey, or Marcus Harvey, excuse me, Marcus Harvey, who is, if you were at the show, he cuts LeBron James hair, Dwayne Wade, you name him, NBA player, he's probably cut their hair. And he did. At first, he came on the stage, and I thought he was going to do a haircut. And this man just sits down, and starts talking to us. But I tell you what, it was so cool because he was almost like a comedian and was very inspiring and funny at the same time. And he's also a successful barber. So he just seemed like a really down to earth person.
And the reason why I brought that up when you talk about the two sections of the show, because a lot of people tend to go to those shows. They think that most shows start at 8, 9 o'clock. So I would advise anyone who's going to go early, because you think you're gonna get that 11, you're gonna get everything. You're gonna miss out on a lot. You're gonna miss out on a lot, and that's why we talk about, even in the classroom, the most important part in the school is the theory. The most important part is the theory, because once you have that knowledge, the knowledge is going to take you above and beyond. Because there's so much technical parts in that textbook that's going to show you how to be a master barber. If you miss out on some, you're gonna miss out on a lot, because the haircut is what you're there for. That's the easiest thing. What did you guys think about the theory, Kevin? And did you guys make the theory? You said you got there about 11, and you said you
About
saw
the education.
the educational part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, which I only seen the back end of one. And
It was
then
probably Chris
the rest
Baggio,
of-
because he was at 12. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's the one to see, Vic.
Yeah, that's the one that had the $100 haircuts. No, that's not
They
the same
all
one.
had
Is
$100
it?
haircuts.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think.
Oh, for real?
100 and
they're
up.
all up there.
No,
All
I
of
just
them.
remember
I
because
think
the woman asked her, like,
Yeah.
if a family of 4 came in, like, would they get some
that's
kind
Chris
of
Boston.
discount or anything? He was like, no. Like,
You have to know your worth,
yeah,
and that's those things that the hair show let you know. Understand your worth. So that's. Go ahead, Kevin. You want to say something? I want to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was
Yeah.
now just to elaborate on like what Chris Basio was saying. He kind of compared it to, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I mean, I understand if this man can't afford $100 haircuts for him and his 3 kids, that's cool. Maybe I'm just not his barber. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's different car washes out there. You can pull up to the car wash at the gas station, pump a couple quarters in, and drive through.
Yep.
You're gonna get a decent car wash.
Yep.
But now, if you go to the full service, you might have to pay $20, $30
Yep.
to get your car washed. But it's gonna be detailed, immaculate. It's gonna be shining.
It's gonna be
And
pristine.
so there's
You're getting the
just
gold package.
you paying for quality.
You can get the gold. You can get the silver or the bronze. Which one you want?
Yeah, exactly. That's what he was saying. He said, man, I don't offer silver and bronze. I just offer gold and platinum. You know what I mean? So if you coming to me, it's what you're gonna get and it's what you're gonna pay for. So I mean, I respect that
And
tons.
and then the other part of the show too is the showcase. There's product sales. There's new equipment and tools that are being debuted at that time. So a lot of times you can go to those shows and get discount equipment, discount tools um, that's just coming out. You can be the first one and see how to use it. Get a tutorial from the barbers who are using a certain tools, a certain equipment to help you perform your skill to the best of your ability. Were there any type of tools or equipment that you guys that was out there that you kind of focused on or saw something that kind of made you say like the or the wow moment?
Uh, for me personally, no, I was in awe just the whole time, just of everything
Right,
going on around me.
which
So
is good.
yeah, so
Was there any tools, any equipment that came out that they kept that you can remember?
Um, honestly, I didn't see too many like tools debuted.
Okay,
I mean, they had a lot of things that were already on the market
right,
available. Um, there was a few brands that weren't there that I was kind of surprised, like Andis wasn't there
right.
and things like that. So, and I'm more focused on like some of the products and just like the Squire app that
Yep,
Marcus is involved with, and the Tomb 45 guys were doing a lot of haircuts and just kind of tutorials, education type parts. So, and then and over I really enjoyed the competitions. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, well,
Like
yep, yep.
I never experienced competitions on that stage or that level, that
Hmm.
many people from all over different places competing
That's
in
important.
that many different events. And I mean, it was just kind of, I'm a sports fan, and it was
Right.
almost kind of like watching a sporting
The
event to
Super
me.
Bowl of
Yeah,
barbering.
it was dope.
Every event has their peak, their top crown moment, and that's what those hair shows, those showcases do. And this one was typically just strictly for barbering, but across the country they have where they're combined with barbers, cosmetologists, makeup, estheticians, and nails. Those are great too. But sometimes specifically just for barbers is a good experience. But I think everyone needs to go to one where it's just all of them because you'll see so many different people around the country exposed to so many different things.
That's what another thing Chris Bosio spoke to is he spoke to the fact that he actually goes to other industries expos
Yes,
just to learn more about the marketing and the business side of things from other industries and apply that to barbering.
that's important. What do you think,
I was
Emma?
like, Craig, it is. I was thinking about you, your sewing class. Craig been on that game. Craig
I
on the
know, right?
sewing classes to find inspiration. But
Yeah, he's got the singer over there just going down.
I mean, but a lot of stuff I do and I relate to the students is that's inspiration from going to like different hair shows, going around the country and implementing different things. But a lot of times the students it's hard to absorb because it's something different. And like, hey, we're in barber school. What does each one teach one have to do with barber school? We're in barber school. Why are you talking about going to a sewing class? We're in barber school. Why are you talking about this? Well, I'm just trying to show you that you have to brand yourself. You have to market yourself. And different things that I do is ways of branding myself because there are a lot of people, how I brand myself, even when I start my barber shop, I was thinking, what's the best way to let people know about me? So I started my shop with my name. So where it is now, a lot of people will know of Craig Crown Cuts, but have never met me. And don't even know that I'm in the same room with them, but I hear them talking about Craig's Conquest. And I've been so many places and people like, man, I gotta go down to Craig's and get a haircut. And I'll be like, hey, I'm Craig. It's like, you're Craig? It's like, yeah, I'm Craig. It's like, for real, you're Craig?
there's a vice versa effect too. Remember when
Hey,
we was at the art gallery and I just pulled up some dude. I thought he was somebody else. And I was like, "Oh, sorry to bother you, man." He's like, "No problem." He's like, "Hey, you're Craig, right? You used to cut my hair." And Craig he didn't recognize the guy. It was
you know what I'm
funny.
saying? So that right there helps branding me. And I started my shop in 2004 and I was thinking like, man, what's the best way to just kind of have this resonated? So now my name resonates across the East Tennessee like Craig. You know what I mean? Like one of them soccer players, just have one name. But that helped me.
This guy.
I want to share something though. Chris Basio, a lot of things that he talked about as far as finding your target market and things like that. I have a friend that has a lawn care business, and he just went to a lawn care expo of
Mhm.
some sort, and he was telling me the same things a month ago that Chris Basio was telling us today. So I mean, they're really talking about all the same things that we're talking about: exposure and marketing and business and
All the
everything.
time. All the time. So it's important. Those hair shows add so much to you. That's why it's exciting. From when I went to my first hair show, I was like, man, this is magnifying. This is just make me want to be a barber about 20 times more than I even thought about it. And I had plenty love for the industry. So true story. The first expo I went to when I started my school in 2007, 2016, 2017, I was trying to get students to go. And as usual, a lot of students are like, man, I don't want to go. I don't know if I want to go. And this was in Alabama. This was our first one. I think it was the premiere down in Birmingham. And so I wanted him to get the experience because he was kind of lagging and not really feeling the barbering industry. But he was in school. He wanted to get his license. I was like, we was leaving at 9 o'clock. So his was, Craig, I can't go because I don't have no clothes. I gotta do laundry. And if I don't get my laundry done, I can't go. So what I did, like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. Everybody left that morning. I called him at 7 o'clock. I didn't leave it and I said, hey, you got your laundry done? He's like, yeah. Well, I'm still here waiting for you. It kind of shocked him and surprised him that I was waiting for him because he thought I was just gonna go and leave him. So long story short, he came down, he rode with me to the expo in Alabama. And after he came back, he's like, Craig, man, thank you. I want to be a barber 100 times more. I am happy I went.
Mm.
And I would hate to that not let him get that experience for him to understand what those expos do for students and new barbers. And that's just the love I have for the industry. When you tell me you want to be a barber, I want you to have that experience to the utmost highest level because I know what it did for me. And knowing what it did for me, knowing that I've walked this road before you, it's going to be important for me to try to introduce you to it because you say you want to be a master barber. There's levels to this. There's things that you have to do. And I don't want your experience just to be in the classroom, in the school setting, because there's so much more that you have to experience and that you can figure out and find out about this industry that's going to make you love it as much as I do. And those things are important to me. So it's important for students to keep and continue going to hair shows or showcases that they hair that's close to them. What do you think, Am I?
I think that's true, and I also think it's important for barbers to compete uh, at any level. I know that the only level of competition I tried was at the fades and flows that Craig had at the school, and still the anxiety and the nervous energy that you build up to do just putting the competition in front of anything. It could be you versus somebody in the shop is going to
Right.
cause you to get it, some kind of excitement out of it, and it made me excited to see the two students, Cisco and Jordan, up there, and I could almost feel their anxiety, but they did very well in
Wait till
in
you
in
talk
their
to them.
haircuts.
Wait till you talk to them. They was excited,
I
but they
haven't
were really
I
nervous.
haven't got to
Wait,
talk to them yet.
yeah, they can't wait to talk to you because they talked about that yesterday of how you watched them and supported them. They was happy for that. Just looking at you
Yeah,
supporting them, they were big on that.
I think that was important because I know what it feels like to be there, but I don't know what it feels like to be on that level of a stage. So I just wanted to know that there's somebody there that was there to support them, whether they won or not. I think that means a lot because it is hard. It's a very hard thing to be numbered, to be put in an order, to say that because you feel almost inferior, but that's not the case. And I know that I've heard a lot of barbers speak about competitions, and most of them have not won many or any at all. I know that the one guy that I know that he's competed in about 10 of them, and he said he's won two, maybe. So,
But
it's
but
a
it's
hard
important
thing to
just to go,
do.
but it's just important to go out there because it gives you confidence and let you know,
Exactly.
hey, if I can do
And
this, there's
exposure.
nothing gonna hold me back. Um,
I,
so so I advise students who go to hair shows to go up in a competition. Um, Last week for the hair show, I was like, Vic, we're gonna sign you up to cut. What'd you say, Vic?
I ain't ready.
I was just my Vic was like, I ain't ready now.
That's exactly what he said. I ain't ready.
But it's
Hey, I'd have been
important.
gassing you up too, Vic. I'd have been dancing in your corner too.
I appreciate it, man. I need that. That's what I'm working on now. Just getting my confidence up and comfortable in what I'm doing.
But that's okay. That's important. Did you ever think about competing, Kev? Would you?
Oof. See, I mean, I'm a lot further down the road than Vic, and I still don't know if I have that confidence yet. I mean, it's really a leap of faith, man,
Right.
and just being like, I'm just gonna trust what I know in my process and how I do a haircut, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? And
that's and that's good because getting in a competition, you are not losing.
right.
There's no losers in a competition on that stage of any full barber. Whether the competition is in school, fades and flows that we do at Crown Cuts, or on the stage with the Tennessee Barber Expo, the Premiere, the Browner Brothers, IBS. There's no losers. If you're in a competition, a student competition, there is no losers. What do you think, Am?
I'm thinking about also the exposure that you get because you see the people that are judging these competitions are the guys that are, I mean, power in the industry. We're talking about Jay Majors. We're talking about, Chris Basio. These guys are seeing you. You're getting face to face. They're watching you work. And not only that, brands are watching you. And this, Wall, and product brands. Products are a big thing. They pick ambassadors and representatives. And if they like what you're bringing to the table, the skill you can pick up. But being able to market a person and being confident, that's something that you also could pick up, but that's what they want to buy into.
Right. And there's all type of products looking for not just clippers, not just shampoo, not just wave grease. It might be vitamin water. It might be someone in there specifically who might see you in that grand stage and like your look, or like your voice, or like the way you hold the clippers, or like the salt and pepper in your beard. Somebody want to market that because that's a good look. I mean, no, seriously. People look for
He's
the
right
distinct
though.
thing. People look for the distinct thing in you because your beard is dope, Kev. How that salt and pepper look, and not too many people have that combination like that. So someone will see that like, man, that dude right there is the model.
It's the salt and pepper beard with the young face. It's a
Yeah,
hard
you know what I'm saying?
combination. I
So
understand.
Tommy Hill might hit you
With
up and be like, yo, Kev, I like that look. You want to just so that's the importance of being in those competitions because you get people to see you from around the country, around the world, who have never seen someone unique like yourself. You know what I mean? Because you got that radio voice, Vic. Let me hear that baritone one time.
I'm here.
get a C note real quick.
You know what I'm saying? So people are going to see something unique in you that's going to be like, what? Because you have to realize your work, your network is going to help increase your net worth. You have to be able to leverage that. Work, your network is going to help you increase your net worth.
Mhm.
And how you do that, you have to be visible. You have to brand yourself. And that's what those shows help you do. Those competitions help you do. Those expos help you do. Because there's so much going on. So many different people coming in around, and we're gonna share it. Talk about your story. I want to bring this up before we get off stage. Talk about your
All right.
yeah. Interesting story. Interesting
Really
story.
crazy. It was a really super surreal experience that I had while I was there. I guess before I get into the story, I want to shout out who the guy that I actually seen there. His name's Raymond Ramsey, Southern Edge Barbershop in Columbia, Tennessee. He's doing big things down there. If anybody's listening from out there in Columbia, go holler at him, tell him I sent you.
Yeah, tell him check out the podcast too. You
Yeah,
give him
I'm gonna
a shout
tell
out.
him. Absolutely. I'm gonna give him a shout holler at after this. All right, but so anyway, so we get there, we go into the education. Me and the guy I rode with, and I see this guy from across the room. And I'm like, man, he looks familiar. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, they can't. That's not who I think it is. I'm at a barber expo in Knoxville, Tennessee. You know what I mean? So I don't think anything about it. And then after the education part was over with, I go walking out, and sure enough, this guy is standing to my right again. And I turn to him, and he recognizes me as well. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "What's up?" He's like, "Man, I seen you earlier." And he said, "I thought that was you." Well, take it. I haven't seen this guy since either like 2013 or 2014. So that's 7, 8 years ago. And how we know each other was I got in trouble when I was younger and got incarcerated in prison for a little while. And that's where I met him. We was actually in the pod together, and he used to cut my hair. He used to cut my hair every week for probably a good 6 months that we were in the pod together. We used to work out together. You know what I'm saying? We were cool. And there was a point where he was telling me, he was like, "Man, I'm gonna go to barber school. I'm gonna go to barber school." He's like, "That's what I want to do." And they offer trade programs when you're incarcerated like that. They have two of those in the state of Tennessee. And he was telling me for a few weeks, man, he's like, "Man, they're gonna send me to the barber program." And then all of a sudden I wake up one day and he's gone. I've never seen him since. And like I said, this was 7 or 8 years ago. And the crazy part about it is we've changed so much. Like, we still look the same, but we've changed a lot since then. You know what I'm saying? And we instantly recognized each other. And now he got out in 2017. Now he is the co-owner of a barbershop, Southern Edge Barbershop in Columbia, Tennessee. He has a brand that he markets, Swagabilly Flawed Life. I mean, he has products, he has a brand, he has a barbershop, and I hope you don't mind this, Ramsey, but he said his barbershop is extremely successful and made close to 400K this year alone. You know what I mean? Like, has four other barbers in there working with him, and he's just ran with a passion that he had so far back then that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew what he wanted to do, and this was his passion. He enjoyed cutting hair, and he did the necessary steps to get to where he needed to be, grinded out through the education, learned his craft, got his hours in, and now he's the owner of a barbershop, an owner of a brand, going to hair shows, you know what I'm saying? Doing well all over IG, and just extremely successful, in knowing that you come from a place where you can make mistakes, but your mistakes don't have to define you.
And if for nothing, just going to a hair show, a barber show, or a convention, you'll reconnect with someone.
Yeah.
You might reconnect with someone. So the importance of that is the joy and the happiness that you had, that connected you guys from something that you didn't think was going to connect you. It just made you feel 10 times more like on the next level.
It was very, very inspirational to me at where I'm at in my journey, to see someone who we were in exactly the same spot at the same time together. I mean, together. You know what I mean? Like, going through daily activities together. And this man used to cut my hair every week. You know what I'm saying? I used to get my hair cut every week, my ball fade. You know what I'm saying?
And he was prideful in that. His passion was
there.
He
loved it. Yeah. We just like any other experience when you're getting your hair cut or you're cutting somebody else's hair, the whole time he's cutting my hair, we're just having conversations, talking about life, talking about the things we want to do when we get past this little difficulty that we was in at that point in time. And I mean, and like, I honestly was on a high from that, just seeing him, and the enjoyment and just the excitement about the industry that it gave me when I seen him and had these conversations with him, and just seeing how far that he's came.
Oh, that's important. That's just joy. That just make it like, man, that reconnection of just meeting your homie from 6, 7, 8 years, and it has a joy in you, because every time I go to a hair show, I meet a barber that I know from across the country, and it's always like a good, like, what's up, Craig, what's up, what's going, and that love right there is just like, it's undescribable. You can't even explain that you dapping up someone that's excited to see you, but you just as excited to see them. That's a love that and that's what the barber industry brings.
Oh yeah.
MI must have fell off. I'm thinking
you got to go dive in the ocean.
MI, what's up? MI fell off or something. We can't hear you. I don't know. We can hear him again, Lathan. Something happened.
You got the mic wet when you jumped in the ocean.
Yeah, you fell in the ocean, MI. Yeah, but still, your mic must be muted. But
anyway,
yeah. But Vic, so knowing what you know now, what would you tell someone who is thinking about coming to barber school, and what would you tell them on the fence of trying to make their mind up about coming to school?
I I would tell them to do it just because once you finish through school, like the options are almost limitless, really. Long as learn and go through everything you learn that book and how to cut hair. Like you can go as far as you really want to.
Right. So, and then also a second part of that question: what would you tell someone about going to a hair show? how would you how would you influence someone to go to a hair show? What would you tell them if they ask you for advice to go to a trade show, hair show? What would you say to them?
To actually to go, because like it ain't doing nothing but helping your craft, and you're gonna learn be around like minded people, and excuse me, you'll be around like minded people and people that can help you elevate from where you're at.
Right. What would you say to someone, Kevin, about going to a hair show? This is your first one. This is the big first one. What would you say to them? How could you convince someone to come to a hair show? Emma, we got you back. Can we hear you? We can't hear you. Nathan, he's gone.
It's all good. I forgot your question. Go ahead.
What would you say to someone about going to a hair show?
Oh, that was hesitant. Okay, yeah. Man, I mean, if you're in this industry for the right reason, like if you have developed that passion through going through school or through doing haircuts on your own or whatever it is, if you really have a passion for the industry and you love the industry and you see the opportunities that the industry can give you, man, like why would you not want to go? I mean, it's just a place where everybody there is on the same thing. Like we all want to be part. Like we all love this, and it's just like there's education, there's products, there's just limitless knowledge of people just meeting and networking, like and just the overall experience, just the feeling when you walk in there, bro. You can just it's an energy that's unexplainable. You know what I'm saying? That you're not really gonna get anywhere else because it's the entire thing is tailored to something that you love doing.
Right. And there's female barbers. There's all different experience of barbers from 1 month in school to 30 years in the industry, 40 years in the industry. And it's not just also just for people who are in school or in the industry. A regular person should go to the hair show because it can help them see and understand what our industry is about.
Appreciation of it as well.
Appreciate exactly. And if you're a parent out there and you have a kid in high school who's thinking that they want to be in the industry, I think it's important for you and them to take them to hair show because what that will do, that's going to enhance their passion that they're already starting to evolve into, and it's going to give you an understanding of what your kid or your family member, or your husband, your wife is thinking about going into. Because I think a lot of times what deters people that they don't understand the industry. So there'll always be a lot of people telling you, why you want to be a barber? Why you want to be a cosmetologist? Why you want to go into nails? Why you want to go into aesthetics? Because it's that person's passion. So if you want to understand why they want to go into that field, you should go to one of those hair shows. You should go to one of those conventions because you will see and understand as a spouse, a friend, a family member, why this person wants to go into this industry. Because it's such a wonderful industry, and most people, their thought process is, "Oh, there's no money in the industry. But you just want to be a barber," and they give you that face. Yeah, I want to be a barber. What's wrong with that? I get so happy when I see young kids at 16, 17, 15, and their goal is to want to be in this industry at a young age. That's exciting to me because barbering is not a last option. Barbering is a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever option it is, wherever you are in your life. It's not a last option like most people think. And I think that's what it is. A lot of people go into the industry and people looking at you, oh, you don't try this. You don't try that. You don't try this. This didn't work for you. So you're going to try barbering now? Oh, it ain't going to work for you. No, that's not the case. If it's something that you want to do, this is a wonderful, fruitful industry. People are having great careers, making great livings, and doing great things. doing great things, and that's what a hair show and a convention do for you. You understand that these people are living great lives, great lives. What do you guys think?
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I
Um,
mean, that's like that's. I mean, because one part of your question was like, why would you tell somebody to go to school? And I think that Vic spoke on this earlier. Is one of the first things that he recognized, like when he got there, was how many different people there are.
Hmm.
So, like, barbering is one of the very few and rare industries where it doesn't matter who you are, how you dress, you know what I'm saying, your personality, it encourages individuality.
Yes,
It doesn't tell you you have to fit this mode to be successful in this industry.
yes,
It
sir.
allows you to be your own person. It allows you to be have personality. And it also doesn't limit you by your past or if you've made mistakes
Right.
or anything like that.
You control the narrative.
Exactly, man. This is one of the
You write your
rare things
story.
that doesn't matter what path led you here. It only matters what you do from this point forward, and
You
that's not really available in a lot of other professions.
you control your narrative. You write your story for what kind of barber you want to be from day one. When you think about going to school, you can say, "I want to be this barber. I want to be that barber. I want to be this type of barber." But you're the only one who can control your destiny. And one of the most important things that I picked up from you, Kevin, what you said is that being in school, you understand how far you've came. Because I remember conversations early on we'd have like, Kev, your mindset is like this right now, but by the time you finish, it's going to change. And you still understood what I was saying, but
Yeah.
you start to understand a little bit more now.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time you finish, you're going to have your options when you came was like this.
It was very narrow. My
It was,
vision was very narrow.
and I was like, man, that's going to change. Like, man, I'm
And I mean, even up until Sunday, it had widened so much. And going to that hair show, it made it
it,
even broader. You know
um,
what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
just your eyes and your vision just keeps getting broader and broader,
Makes the
and
world
you
smaller.
yeah, and you realize,
am
man,
I got you word.
and you realize you realize how broad this spectrum is, and no matter really where you fall on the spectrum,
Mhm.
because you get to choose where you go on this spectrum,
Right,
you're going to be successful as long as you choose where you want to be and where you're comfortable and where you feel you'll be successful, and you put your time and your energy and your passion into that. It doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum, you
right.
can be successful anywhere on it.
Yep. You want to elaborate on that, Emma? We got you back.
Nah,
Kind of
I
thought.
I like hearing Kev's story. It's really cool because I used to be a CO, so I was on the other end of it, and I
Hmm.
felt trapped. As a CO, I felt trapped. Like I had retirement, whatever, and I couldn't leave what I was doing. Actually, my father was very upset with me when I told him I was leaving because I had retirement and everything. And actually, a few of the offenders there inspired me to be a barber. One of them, he's in Manassas. His name's Keith. Dude worked out like crazy. Like he lost like 200 pounds, man, and he's a barber. He's doing really good, and it was very inspirational for me to see that from him. And I think this saved me as well from the other end of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're hearing all this, Vic. What's going through your mind right now? Are you getting excited? Or are you just like, man,
nah, I'm excited, man. Like I said, I'm just, but I know I can't rush anything.
right?
I want to cut like Kev right now, but
And good
Want to
attitude to
cut
have.
like in Mine Creek.
Yeah,
So there's, you know what I'm saying?
uh,
There's levels for
and that's
sure.
a good attitude to have. You understand that it's going to be a process. And most students, what I want to reach out to you out there and help you understand, a lot of students, when you're in school at the time, you're thinking like, man, I'm not learning. I'm not learning. I'm not learning. I'm not learning. You're learning so much, but you don't understand what you're learning. A lot of things that you're acquiring while you're in school, as far as meeting a friend, that's going to be a lifelong. That's something that you're getting in school too. Meeting people who you're going to have
For sure.
a network with. Meeting those things you can't underestimate because those things are valuable too. Being able to learn a skill away from barbering, because you might get someone who's a great communicator like Kevin, and you watching them talk and learning, and then you like, you know what? Let me pick up some things from Kevin to help me be a better barber. Vice, and that's what school is for. And if you just solely go in and think about you have to go in and be the best barber right there and then, you're not getting what it's for. Focus on your theory. Focus on your skill to help you pass this test. Focus on the part that learn how to do a consultation. Focus on the part how to greet your clients. Focus on sanitation. Focus on the meat of the subject. The meat of the subject is not being able how to cut hair. You are going to be able to cut it if you're invested, if you put some time in. But the other part that you have to do, those things are equally important. Meeting friends, being that great person, understanding it's a process. But again, you don't know what you don't know. So find a mentor and understand what it takes to be a barber. And if someone is just telling you, man, you just have to be the best cutter, that's all you're going to be. That's all you're going to be is the best cutter, because you have to be able to talk to people and all those things that you underestimate. Those things that you can develop in school. Those things that you can develop during that 15 months, 1,500 hours, excuse me, or 11 to 12 months that you're in school. Those things that you have to develop, the haircutting is going to come. But if you just develop to be a cutter, that's all you're going to be, nothing else. Am I?
I, if you ever get a chance to go to these hair shows, make sure you go up to these barbers that you look up to and are successful. I guarantee almost 9 times out of 10 they'll be willing to help you and share their knowledge because they know where they came from. And I mean, I wouldn't feel any kind of anxiety of speaking with them or asking them even questions that might seem stupid to you because they had to start where you're starting now. All of them,
They've been there.
all of them had to start. There's not a single one that did not have to be bad at first, or be the worst person in the shop, or be the new student that doesn't know anything. There's all of them started somewhere.
Did you speak to any celebrity barbers when you was down there? Did you have a chance, Kev?
Yeah, man, crazy stuff. I actually, I forget why, but I went back upstairs from the expo, and there was 2 escalators going up, one coming down. So I just hop on one escalator, and I look to the right of me, and there's 2 guys on there, and it was actually the 2 wall representatives, the Titan Barber and what's his name, Trevor or
Trevor.
Trevor, yeah. It was them 2 standing right next to me. So I rode the escalator up with them and had a conversation with them and just told them how much I enjoyed their presentation and I got a lot out of it and I really appreciate them coming and all that. And they were super cool and nice. I wish I'd have got a picture with them, but I forgot in the moment. And then actually met and took a picture with Chris Bazio later too. Just happened to be me and Tanner, the guy I went with, was walking out and by the 245 booth, and he was just standing there, and we were like, "Hey, man, what's up? Can we get a picture?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, man." Super cool. Everybody was super nice, man. You know what I'm saying? Friendly, engaging.
And those guys, they love the industry so much. They want to give you good advice. They want the questions because, like you said, Am, they was once where you were in your shoes, so they understand the struggle. They understand of not knowing what they don't know, and now they know when you have knowledge. If you don't want to share it, you're selfish.
I think another thing is what they realize and what a lot of people don't realize, and especially when you're first coming into this industry doesn't have to be cutthroat. This industry, this pie is big enough for everybody. And that's one thing about these barbers and these educators that they realize is it doesn't matter how much knowledge they share with you. It doesn't matter how successful you become. You're not going to take anything off their plate because there's a plate for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing about this industry. It does not have to be cutthroat for everybody to succeed.
Good point. So I was talking to my pastor last week, and he put a bug in my. He's like, "Craig, let me share something with you." He's like, "You have a barbershop. You know how selfless it is for you to open a school and create competition for your barbershop? You don't have to. Why'd you do that?" I was like, "I didn't think of it." I was like, "I just love the industry." He's like, and until he pointed it out to me, I didn't think of it that way. I just thought that I love the industry. The more people I can put in the industry, the better it would be. So now I have 2 schools, and I'm just putting out barbers, but I also have a barber shop.
Look how many barbers have actually graduated from your school and opened shops
within
probably a half-mile vicinity of your shop.
Yeah, but
and everybody's still eating.
And that's a great point. You know what I mean? So it's not about trying to step on nobody's toes, trying to hold some people back. And there are some people in the industry who are like that. You know what I mean? But it's about the growth and showing the love and making it something fruitful that everybody can grab a fruit off the tree and enjoy it. That's what it was for me. I just industry that much. It was passionate for me. So I didn't even think about, man, I'm gonna open a school and create barbers, and I don't poach barbers. I don't never go up to barbers like, man, I want you to work for me. I don't do that because I want everybody to enjoy it too. It's enough out there for everyone. Find your niche. And when the pastor said that to me, I was like, yeah, I mean, hey, I love the industry. I want Kevin to understand and be fruitful and understand what greatness this thing has. I want you to be like, you know what, man, I love this. This barbering thing is wonderful. I'm gonna have a good career, take care of my family, take care of myself, see the world, make friends, meet people. So that's my mentality. It's not about, man, nah, I ain't opening I'm not opening a school for nah. but some people, you understand, think like that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But hey, such is life. What do you think, Am
I think when Kev and Vic are both working for Gamma, when y'all make it big, that make sure that when that student pulls up on you with that stupid question, you remember the day and you're
Give it
willing to
back.
give him that extra time, even though that you're tired. And his haircuts might not be where they should be. Just when y'all pop it, make sure you remember where you came from.
Absolutely.
just for saying that, one point I want to make, and one point I see sometimes in school, right? Since I've been in school, like you said, everybody has been in the beginning where they don't know nothing, they're brand new. But then there's the other spectrum where a lot of students, when they get towards the end, they kind of get selfish, where they want to be like, man, I just want to leave, and I don't want to. But you have to think about, you got to pass on what was passed on to you. So if that cycle continues where you don't want to show somebody some love, who was that? That doesn't. That's an oxy. That's not even. That's bad energy. That's bad energy. You got to come in how you come in and leave how you came in, because understanding that Victor is 2 months in and he knowledge from you too, and it's not fair for you to be like, man, I ain't got time for you. Someone had time for you when you came in,
Yeah.
first months,
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months, when you were struggling, when you didn't know what was going on. So how fair is that, students out there, to be like, oh, I'm good now, I can cut a little bit, man, I just want to be out the door, I ain't want to do nothing else. The whole part of school is a development of you. How you gonna be? The whole part of school, that whole 1,500 hours, is a development of you. How you gonna be? How you gonna treat people? How people are gonna treat you? And people remember those times. I mean, who was here with you, Kev, when you came in towards the end? Who was at the end?
Heath, Caden,
Ryan,
Ryan, Ish,
Ish. You know what I mean? So
Kev.
it
Yeah.
was important for them guys to nurture you.
Bro, I couldn't have made it without them, to be honest, because I mean there's only so much that an instructor can do,
Right,
and at the same time you have, like we was talking about with the kids, you telling somebody something, and then and another kid of theirs, a
right.
peer of theirs, a classmate of theirs tells them the same thing, and they understand. It's the same concept in school. Like Craig can come. I remember I used to get confused when Craig would try to tell me something. It was just because
You was young, and it
yeah,
was
I wasn't ready
right.
for it. But then I go to someone who's almost on my same level, and they explain the same thing to me, and I understand it.
Break
You know
it
what
down.
I'm saying? And so when I think that it's kind of a responsibility that we have, that if we know that that's the way that we had to learn, then why would we not bring that back to help somebody else come along? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because we all in this together.
well, that's the same question I ask a lot of students, you know, but they get to that point, man, but they're not thinking like that. But as a student, that's how you have to think. You have to give back. You have to pay it forward. That's part of it. And any students out there who's in any school, when you get to that point when you have some type of success, you feel some confidence. Remember that time when you didn't feel confident, and go to that student who you see is struggling, who might be on the verge of not having that confidence where it needs to be. Show some love. Help them out.
Also, on the same lines of that, young students or people that are just, just starting school, don't be afraid to go ask for help, because I promise you, you will not get denied if you go ask. Now, it is a different story. People coming to you
Mhm.
is going to be a little less likely than, and I promise you, it's going to be, your success rate will be 99.9% if you go and ask someone a question or someone for help, I promise they will help you because they had to do the same thing when they were in your shoes, and no one denied them. You know what I mean? It's very important to just get out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of prideful people, you know what I'm saying, or people don't like to ask for help, whatever the reason may be. But I promise you, you're going to break through those walls and you're going to level up so much faster if you just go and just ask for help. Because if you sit there and you do the wrong thing over and over and over, all you're doing is perfecting the wrong thing.
There's no growth.
You know what I'm saying? You're perfecting the wrong technique, or you're perfecting whatever it is wrong. So you got to go find out how to do this correctly and then practice that.
Hearing what Kevin just said, Vic, how did that help you?
What about people giving back?
Yeah, and it's a responsibility.
Oh
like you
yeah,
said.
like speaking of that, like what was it when we came back Tuesday? We come back to school. I got a set of seniors, some trimmers, and a full razor. Somebody that had graduated, they wanted to come back and give it to somebody that
Right.
could use it, and I just happened to be the person.
That always happens. There's always some students who's graduating who would be like, "Hey, here's some tools I'm not using," and that's good. That's how you pay it forward too. You have to remember where you were. You have to remember your journey, and the journey. It's almost, you have to go through that learning curve where it doesn't make sense to you, because you will appreciate it more because you had to work for it. If you don't work for it, you're not going to appreciate it. You have to understand those times when you was like struggling. It didn't make sense, but through your perseverance and your research and your grinding and doing some studying, it came to you. But that's just life. Nothing's gonna come to you if you don't put some work in. If you don't study your craft, if you don't hone your craft, if you don't ask people for help. It takes a longer process. Like you say, practicing the same wrong thing, what's it getting you?
You're going to be able to perfectly do it wrong.
Anything else you want to add, MI?
No, I've given. I just want to say I've given a lot of clippers away, even to just kids. If you're a kid and you're like, man, I'm thinking about cutting hair, I've given tools away. Like I said, just give back any way you can, man. Like, it's even children. Like, if I see, like, I've had 15-year-old kids come to the shop and say they want to be barbers and ask me questions. I just, when you love the industry, you just give. And one thing that stuck out to me in the show was Chris Basio, when he gave us the analogy of the Evian water. I ain't gonna lie, the old wretched man that I am, I was waiting for him to try to sell me something. I'm not gonna lie, I was, but he didn't. He purely gave an inspirational video to try to spark interest in people, just because he loved it so much himself. And I thought that was amazing to me. That's one of the things that stuck out to me.
And one of the key things he did is a mindset adjustment. A lot of people just need a mindset adjustment. A mindset adjustment will get you in a positive direction, get you motivated, get you doing things and looking at things differently. And everybody needs that, because if you can get stuck in a rut, but you have to go ahead and seek it. You have to. It's okay to get help. It's okay for someone who's better than you to help you. It's okay. You're gonna get to the point where you're gonna be giving advice and giving help. It's okay. So all good things gotta come to an end. This was the great podcast day. This was wonderful. Vic, what do you think about the podcast day?
I enjoyed it a whole lot. I was real nervous at the beginning. I mean, I'm still in. My hands are still sweating. But
So you're giving someone inspiration out there who's in the same position like you are, starting out a month in, real nervous, and don't understand what they're getting ready to go into. But one of the key things that you said, hey, I'm coachable, and I'm going to trust the process.
Yep.
And that's key right there. I'm coachable. I'm going to trust the process. I'm in the right position, in the right place to get the education that I need and to get the skills that I need to learn, to grow. Because we have a network out there of barbers who came from Crown Cuts Academy who always show love to students when they come to their shop. And that's what I like. We got people as far as North Carolina, in Morristown, all East Tennessee spread out, where any student can have some type of questions. They can just go to and speak to a barber like, Crown Cuts, all right, you in a family, you in a fraternity, what you want. And that is good. That's a good feeling on my part to think that we showing that love to all our alumni. And shout out, Emma, you alumni too, man. You,
In Virginia.
yeah,
Virginia, North
Honorary.
Carolina,
I got an
Yes.
honorary degree.
hey man, Shaq got one. You know what I'm saying? You get one too, man.
I'll take an honorary degree.
But in May will be year 5 of Crown Cuts Academy, and we're gonna do something special. Have all the alumni, all the barbers come through. We're gonna have a round table discussion, have a dinner, and just have an open discussion, have a panel, and have the students just ask questions. The current students and the new students just ask questions to each other, and we're gonna have a yearbook, have pictures from the day 1 to current. So we're gonna have a big year. I think it's gonna be something good that everybody needs to get. It's just a momentum for the students. But again, May 2022 will be year 5,
Cool.
and that'll be a
Look forward to that.
5-year anniversary. We're gonna do something big, something epic. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Colossal Brand, to our top 25 in the world and top 25 in the country, feed spot for ranking us. Barber Content, Craig's Crown Cuts, Downtown JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, Crown Cuts Academy JC. We enroll students the first Tuesday of every month in Johnson City. We enroll students the second week of the month in Bristol. We offer financial aid. We offer Pell Grant. We offer GI Bill. We work with vocational rehab. We do in-house financing. So we have several options to get you in school. I'd female barbers, people who want to change industries, from engineers to doctors to teachers. Come check us out. We willing and able to help you. We have some great students. We have a great network to increase your net worth. So take advantage of that. Lasting words, Kev.
No, I appreciate it. If I don't make it back on before I'm gone,
Hey, everybody comes on.
go ball.
Hey man, they got to win before you say go balls.
They do. They look better, man. Let me hold on to my little ray of hope I got right
Yeah,
now.
Oh,
that's
man.
all we get. That's all we get. Just a little hope.
What you got to say, Vic? Your lasting words, man, before we get off there.
If you're thinking about going to barber school, I suggest you do it. That's all I got for you.
And that Barry White voice.
Kurt. Oh yeah. Vic, just let you know, man. Your voice is gonna become a blessing and a curse. You will be back on the show solely because of your voice. So get more comfortable.
Even when Vic coffee sound good.
Yeah, that's what you say. When you say get comfortable, feeling uncomfortable.
You're right. Yep. Emma, how you want to close this out, brother?
Go be great.
Yeah,
Go be
down there.
great.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Of course, you down in the sun. He down beach.
GBG.
You about to walk. Your toes are sand right now.
I'm literally about to get in. I'm about to get in the heated pool right now as soon as I hang up. So I'm about to dive.
Do a cannonball for
Hey,
me.
that's what the industry can provide you though, right there.
Yes. Time off.
Beach time.
Time off. Flexibility with your family, your friends.
Absolutely.
A career, income in your pocket, doing what you want to do when you want to do it, and also enjoying work, because a lot of people don't enjoy their work, but we enjoy our work. We love going to work. We don't have days where we say we don't want to go to work. We want to go to work and create and paint on that canvas, which is that head, every day, and that's why we love it. But again, shout out to Mark Street Media for having us on. Latham, we appreciate you for doing the wonderful work that you do for us. Barber College Success, one time for your mind. And if you have any questions, shoot us a message on Instagram, Facebook. Hit us a message on YouTube. Hit us up. Subscribe to us on all the platforms. Crown Cuts Academy, JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, Craig's Crown Cuts, Downtown JC, or Barber College Success. Hit us up.